Imagine a world where capturing certain visuals was as unattainable as lassoing the moon, where some shots were not just rare or costly, but utterly beyond reach. Today we're discovering the evolution of slow motion, and while it's been a staple in the film world for decades, as far as the video world that a lot of us live in and grew up in, it's relatively new. I'm going to specifically talk about how video slow motion transformed from grainy, low-resolution captures to the stunningly detailed, even slower, crazy high-resolution visuals that we now take for granted. Because when I was your age, as a digital videographer, achieving a shot like this was simply impossible. So the year was 2006, I was a senior in high school, and I owned a Canon ZR100. It was a mini DV tape camera. It shot 720 480 resolution at 30 frames per second, interlaced. It was my $400 prize and joy. But I had a dream. Feature films on the big screen weren't shot in a slimy 30 frames per second. They were shot at a cinematically flickery 24 frames per second. 24 frames was the envy of all amateur creators, but only ridiculously $4,000 video cameras like the Canon XH-A1 offered it. Eventually, video DSLRs brought the price of 24 frames per second down to the common man. But we just couldn't help wanting more. Instead of chasing fewer frames to get that cinematic look at 24 frames per second, we started going the other way and started craving more frames. An extreme increase of frames, such an increase that it felt impossible. We wanted to actually slow down the world, but current prosumer cameras just couldn't give us the frame rate that we needed, so we turned to software. Before AI, there was this creative tool called Twixtor. It didn't use machine learning, instead it relied on something called optical flow. Twixtor would analyze the movement of pixels between frames and then generate entirely new frames to fill in the gaps. Now, if your footage was clean, stable, and well lit, Twixtor could make 30 frames per second look like buttery slow motion. But here's the downside: if anything in your footage got messy, like if you had motion blur, fast movement, or objects that crossed paths, Twixtor would glitch. Subjects would stretch and warp, and faces would melt. Still at the time though, Twixtor was our cheat code. It was how we bent time and created magic. Then came the hardware. We started seeing real increased frame rate power in the actual cameras themselves. In 2010, the Canon T2i gave us 60 frames per second at 720p. It wasn't perfect, but it was real and it was accessible. Then in 2015, the Sony a7S II arrived. It gave us 120 frames per second at full HD, that's 1080p, right out of the camera, no plugins, no guesswork. Finally, in 2020, the Sony a7S III dropped with 120 frames per second in glorious 4K. No melting, no warping, just clean, beautiful cinematic slow motion baked into a prosumer body. At the peak of modern hardware is the Phantom T2-110, capable of recording up to 21,000 frames per second at a resolution of 1200-800 pixels. The camera has the ability of reaching a staggering 483,300 frames per second at reduced resolutions. Now with tools like Runway, you can take regular 24 frames per second footage and turn it into beautiful, buttery slow motion using AI. Unlike Twixtor, which relied on optical flow and often fell apart with complex motion, Runway uses deep learning to understand what's happening in the scene, and it doesn't just guess where pixels are going, it predicts motion, shape, and structure like a human would. What once felt like a dream when we were kids, guys, is now default. And every time I slow something down now, I feel that same awe that I felt in 2006, with a Canon in my hand and a dream in my head. Today, the impossible is automatic, and that same moon that we tried to lasso now fits right in our pocket.